All right, this is what 2 hours late because I was asleep again. That's a running theme. Whenever I have a stream at 6, it's because I'm knocked out. Um, I basically decided that I'm kind of sick of this Ferris wheel. Where I'm used basically a lot. The way a lot of modern politics seems to work is that we repeat ourselves year after year. And if you do daily content day after day, week after week, and I've just decided I'm not going to stretch out something I really don't care about to, next year. So the only way I'll talk about Trump's impeachment ever again is if he actually gets removed from office. When if they have a vote and let's say the House convicts and the Senate doesn't do anything, that's it. Well, I don't know what that's doing anything, Kevin, but yeah, people are typing all kind of weird stuff nowadays. So that's that. Um, but just to go off of my recollections, I think the first attempt at getting rid of him, so to speak, was from that Democrat from Texas, Al Green. And I remember just kind of like the second I saw the headline a few years back, I was like, who is that? And that was like the precursor to pretty much all of the people who are known for being, the impeachment group, like the ones that are just that's their main thing. You literally don't know them for anything else. Like if you told me to name an issue that Al Green led on besides impeachment, I'd be stumped. And that's someone who was in Washington for years ahead of Trump arriving. And it just goes back to this thing of how these people like they play right into his hands because the main ones who are doing this are all people that no one knew who they were, and it just feels like a publicity stunt. Um, and I think if they just keep saying things and trying to be in the spotlight over a topic that it has little to no chance of actually happening, they can boost their political careers. That's kind of what his tenure has been. It's been like a attempt by all of the congressional Democrats to get like a day in the spotlight, like with the Frederica Wilson thing, the one from Florida, where she tried to like go around and say Trump called a military widow and he spoke to her in such a horrible way, and like the entire time this is playing on the news, I'm just like, man, I don't care. Like we have all these issues going on. You want me to be sad and upset over him not speaking to someone over a phone in the way you would have preferred? It's like no, it's irrelevant. It's another one of those things that they stick up that has really no importance whatsoever because people say stuff people don't like on phone calls all the time. They want me to believe that once someone becomes president, they're supposed to like have this perfect, cool demeanor. And it's like you guys are getting outraged over a completely predictable thing. You already think he's some rude individual. So what exactly would be the shock when he doesn't speak over the phone the way you like it? And why do I need to see that on TV being replayed as the sole story of importance for like 3 or 4 days? But that's just another example I'm talking about. Where people they try to stick themselves and stuff and become more important than they actually are. I'm telling you, before the last 2 years, nobody knew who Adam Schiff was. Nobody knew who Jerry Nadler was. No one knew who Al Green was. The only one of these impeachment people that I had any kind of acknowledgement of was Waters, and that was only because but basically how I explain this, the token minority member of Congress politician, kind of like around my area, and it was like I still couldn't tell you anything she actually led on. I can name some stupid comments she's made as well, but that's par for the course. Everyone's known for saying something while having the power to affect laws, but doing nothing in all their tenure. Lindor says you respond yet to using his position to get a prosecutor who was investigating his son. So this is on the Ukraine stuff as well. Yeah, well, like I said, I've been very clear about the fact that I think these people are corrupt on both sides. So it isn't exactly a little wondrous attempt to make the Democrats seem like darling little angels who would never do anything, because they actually are doing that, where they're trying to make it seem like corruption started 2 years ago. That's why when they had Manafort go to jail and Stone arrested, I can't even take it seriously because I'm like, if we really had actual campaign finance laws, it'd be like what 99% of both the House and the Senate would be in jail, or at least having to pay some kind of charges. I mean, we can go through the list. We could Menendez from New Jersey. Like we don't, this is not something that's exclusive to one side, and it's been going on literally for decades ahead of the last 2 years. But they tried to ignore it because people didn't have mean tweets, and they didn't call someone out of their name. Everybody was so nice and upstanding gentlemen and all that trash. Um, but yeah, I had another person who had continuously with me over the course of the last 2 years kept saying these impeachment people are getting nowhere. They're getting nowhere, and it's like, oh well, we can get them on this charge. I'm like, look, if there's a genuine cause for concern, it's war crimes. We talk about the 7 wars that are not being financed by Congress. The problem is, are not being authorized by Congress, excuse me. The issue with taking that position on him is that automatically, if I say, if you're going to impeach Trump on something that's sound, it should be war crimes for these different conflicts that are not approved by Congress. All of his supporters, call you a evil little Democrat and try to say that, you're trying to get him over something. They start doing the whataboutism thing. It's like, okay, well, that automatically means that I can't actually, take a position here because you're trying to trap me for something I had no control over. I guess if we could take a time machine, we could go into the past and try to impeach Obama over his own war crimes. But we're dealing with the here and now, and they do this, to their credit with pretty much everything. I was talking about the Bolton firing. Was it like 2 weeks ago? And I had a guy come in here talking about, because I had said, all these all these Bush people rather. So Bush alumni of the younger Bush. They keep finding their ways of getting back in office, even though the swamp was supposed to be drained, and that presumably includes them. And the person will, well, they should get all the Obama people should go away. I'm like, yeah, but what does that have to do with the point I was making? It's again the whataboutism. Did the same thing. What was the other topic they did this with? We had his own officials in the RNC when they canceled the primaries in 4 states earlier this month. They were like, "Oh, well, uh, the Democrats did that in 2012 because they knew who their nominee was." Like, okay, that's still a crappy thing to do. It's undemocratic. Let the person who wants to run get their 8 votes. That's the point. That all the whataboutisms, just year after year, over and over again. All the deflection. Condor says the prosecutor who was fired was on the record in Ukraine as a measure of patriotism for the good of Ukraine that wanted the $1 billion. Just the more stuff I hear about this, it sounds like a little goofy movie. They Dora. So Jimmy, he actually had a video where he was talking about how you have all these people that get bombed to pieces in these foreign countries. Again, in unconstitutional wars that aren't approved by Congress. And this goes on for years. But what they actually want to get you over for illegality is going after the son of their senile front runner. Oh no, people actually are doing that. They're putting up petitions to get rid of Pelosi. And I saw something from a Republican member of the House yesterday where he was trying to censor shift. I said I support that. Again, these people on both sides do nothing. I can name all the members of the House that are currently in office that don't piss me off on one hand. The rest of them, you could throw them in the trash. I've never seen this person before. Last rights. Still no. Oh, here we go again. let's see. Boris Trump is too insulated by too many power players and decision makers without indicting. I mean, we're kind of not in the mood for a history recap, so you can argue back and forth with them in the comment section if you want. I'm just not in the mood because, again, this isn't the I Hate Trump show, so we didn't even say anything about Russia. Sometimes I think his supporters don't even like they go to a video and they just put it on mute and they just start typing stuff. Because I remember when we did the video on Tulsi where she was on Fox and they were pissed off at her for telling the truth about Iran. So like how Iran wasn't even messing with us. They actually went over and retarded. They like in the comment section. I can literally count on one hand the number of comments that I saw specifically addressing certain things she had said. The rest of them were, "This is a communist. This is a socialist. Uh, she's more in love with Iran than the U.S." Nothing on any specifics that she mentioned. So that's how they roll. Like right here, he says crowd strike. What does that have to do with anything? I'll let him write his stuff because it's I guess it's for comedy. Everybody else can be entertained by it. Hmm. Was mentioned in the transcript. Sir, forgive me, but I don't. Contrary to popular belief, I don't sit around and read all of this trash. I've actually said for many years I couldn't care less about impeaching Trump, so I'm not exactly going to rush up to read the transcript of something I don't care about. So I'm going to get rid of this little sarcastic nonsense you wrote. That's where it says that exposed the servers. Oh, that encrypted the servers Trump wasn't allowed to use. Rod says the impeachment proceedings will go nowhere. Yeah, on MSNBC, they had a whole number where it was like, oh, we need 218 Democrats are supposed to come out for impeachment. We're at 214. Like, okay, good. You still don't have anything in the Senate to prove that you're even going to be able to go through with this. So what? God, it's like they turn. That's why I said it just feels like it's this game that no one takes seriously anymore, or that they're trying to get you to take seriously. If you can, last rights, I'd like you to name some Republicans who you think are going to vote for this because I just believe too many of them are really none of them are willing to do this. If Trump is outed, except violence isn't of it. Oh, if Trump is outed, expect violence, lots of it. Violence against who? He still says, let President Trump stay where he is. He's the president America deserves. I mean, yeah, we got an election system where you can literally get 3 million more votes than somebody and still end up losing somehow. I'm not sure how that works. Oh, I am sure how it works. It's called being broken. But then we're going to have a whole debate about the electoral college, and that really does not need to happen here. Let's see, Namarad says, ask Tulsi. She agrees impeachment would split America in half. Well, that's kind of why it's like really funny to watch a lot of Democrats say he's divisive, but then you're admitting that you want to do something that will cut the U.S. Down in between. I just I think it's just a little stunt to get some attention and some camera time. Let's see. Appears to be a Trump supporter. I talked to that dude in the comment section. Yeah, I saw that little gun control debate that was written. I mean, let's you know what? Let's actually let's not ban bazookas or missiles because somebody else is using them, right? So the weapons, they're not fault for anything. Yeah, I'm just tired of those arguments, man. I can't make myself understand why someone needs an assault weapon. If you want to have a pistol, protect yourself from someone breaking in, whatever. But all these advanced forms of weaponry, I don't get it. Whatever you want to call the assault weapon. And Patrick is just begging to get out of here. He's like, please kick me. These sorts of arguments are a part of the time. And well, I'm kind of tired of arguing. My whole thing is, if you feel differently than me, go make your own channel. Oh, so not really in that much of a mood anymore. No one said that was an abbreviation, but okay. Splendora says, if you go pure democracy, you get the tyranny of the majority, like two wolves and the sheep voting on what to have for dinner. Oh, here we go. I mean, I don't care anymore, man. Like the way I look at it is all these debates that are going on between whether it's the electoral college or someone getting impeached. It's all stuff that doesn't matter to me. That's why when they had that petition to get rid of the electoral college, or they were talking about having a bunch of people sign waivers. So I didn't do it because I just don't. Doesn't matter. I know it's not going to actually affect the fact that we have that thing. People have been trying to get rid of that for years. Won the majority, and I don't. I think that's actually fake news. Oh, he still says, "I think you rather of lighthearted subjects. If so, why do these sorts of discussions? There are other things to talk about." So I said, "This is it. This is the last time. No more." 'Cause there's just too much ridiculousness built around this. Like I got a poll right here from the Hill Harris expert talking about the impeachment approval rating went up by 12 points, and it's always at 50 or lower. It's never at any amount that's actually like, oh, here's 60 or 70 people calling for the president to be removed from office. That's why I said they know it's going to cut people in half, but then they're still going to do it anyway. And again, the issue is they're trying to take something that happens all the time, which is corruption, and then because it's being used against their wonderful dear old VP slash Democratic front runner, I'm supposed to like now care and be so concerned, want to move and whatnot. You guys ignore it year after year, but something happens to Biden. Oh my God, we must send you to the gallows. I didn't see that movie. Be still. I just heard about the controversy. Created the film to reflect. I mean, I have nothing to do with that group, so they I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Last right says, I think he just doesn't want to argue. Yeah, because like I do a stream and then, or I do a video and I just say, hey, I like this, and you got somebody trying to write 8 paragraphs about how wrong you are, and let's go back and forth. Like I saw that thing between Be Still and Non Mirage. It went on for like 8, 9, 10 messages. And I was just sitting there like, you apparently agree with each other, so what's the point in even bothering to put up with this rather? They thought that movie would stir violence because they took something out to the general public and blueprinted the Joker. Oh, oh, wow. Yeah. Again, I'm not even. It's a film I don't plan on seeing because I kind of have tuned out of any DC films because the last ones I've watched have all left a bad taste in my mouth. And that's the he sees as a serious problem. I don't. Let me go look at what it was. I just know that both of you left comments that were indicative of supporting or basically being opposed to what I was saying, which was that a lot of this stuff is not necessary. Like people don't need these weapons. Okay, so B still says guns aren't the problem anymore in video games. It's these, yeah, whatever. And then I'm trying to see what. Oh, you were arguing over which group was the worst. So you were saying, so Namaraj was saying Zionist, and then B still wanted to like contest which team. But I just saw that Namaraj left a comment where he was basically saying the same thing about how we don't need any more laws over anything. Let the guns fly. I mean, again, I just don't care. Like all this stuff is not worth arguing over. People say a lot of stuff and with that they type out that I won't say because I just don't want to. And this is the point, the problem I'm talking about. Look at Namaraj's newest comment. When have you ever heard me say or state that we need a nanny government? But that's my point. It's like why even speak? Like just put words in my mouth. I almost don't even want to say anything. I want to just have the people write back and forth to each other because you're literally not hearing anything I've said here or in any other installment or like at all. It's just, you know, one ear out the other. No, last right. You can literally watch every single thing I've ever made. No, nowhere does anyone say we need nanny government. But that's what I'm talking about. They don't listen to you. Just like I get on here and I say I don't think Trump is going to get removed from office. You might get an impeachment vote, and that'll be it. And that's enough for one of his fanboys, this Patrick character, to come in here and start typing about uh he's not he hasn't been convicted of anything. There's no proof like no one said there was. At least I didn't. You can argue back and forth with them over that. Told you, man. People see a title, they react with their little emotions and whatnot, and then they start doing this. I mean, that's kind of the point. We have laws about what people can and can't have already. So, or do we already have a nanny government? Okay, so if we don't, you're saying if we don't need something we already have. Like I was advocating for a new government, so it's I kind of don't get the point of it. Mm. Like I just told you my position is. I'm now on the side of you and be still on this issue. So let the guns fly. Let's all have every single pistol ever made, whether it's a slingshot or a bazooka. Be still says, by the time I'm done with you from a political platform, you're going to be reduced to a slingshot to defend yourself. I'm going to be like Beto. Namaraj says Beto is genius, his favorite politician, the man he looks up to the most. He agrees with him on every issue. He has a poster of him adorning his bedroom wall. He still says if he had to name an issue that mattered the least to him, it would be white supremacy, and that his biggest issue is the Israeli government, and he's going to take on Netanyahu. He's going to run for Israeli prime minister and change the world. Now let's have some actual fake news. Patrick says guns are only good for posing with in Facebook images. I agree. They do look cool, I guess. That he thinks the only way Trump could be impeached is if he wore a green tie. That to him, assault weapons are just a term that somehow neglects their existence. Pandora says you can argue that Trump might want the impeachment attempt because it is overwhelmingly unpopular with moderates, meaning that it'll be beneficial to him in 2020 and any economic downturn that may happen between now and the 2020 election can be blamed on the impeachment attempt, thus laying the blame on the Democrats. It's exactly what I was saying. But people don't listen, and I've had people write huge paragraphs to me about why I'm so insane for thinking that, because it's not like that's ever happened before where somebody got impeached and then they got more popular. It's never occurred. So they can keep typing all their stuff. Like, no one is going to make this make sense to me. I'm looking at this comment right here. I support impeachment. It has nothing to do with me thinking they'll succeed in the Senate, but I'm more afraid of creating more disenfranchised Democratic voters. Allowed Dems to win the House because they wanted Big Bad Trump to go away. Not going with the impeachment proceeding is splitting on the majority of those voters that allowed us to retake the House. What is this? I'm no longer afraid of pissing off the Trump voters because you know why? I have the same mindset during the midterm election. And look at where we are at now. It's like, do you have any proof that all those voters who voted for Democrats in the midterms wanted him to get impeached? He still says, understand even Trump's voters don't like Trump. They just don't care anybody else to turn to. Wait, they just don't care. They just, man, you guys, some of these comments, they just don't see anybody else to turn to. Let's see, be still a Zoomer, probably never in his life. Let's see. Last right says that isn't a good reason to support a man committing treason that makes them traitors. Yes, there is. Seeking foreign aid in an election. I mean, again, like, oh my God, Trump colluded with the Russians. Like, yeah, but we literally have done that multiple times to other, like, if you know about the U.S. and its involvement in screwing with other countries' elections, you don't take it as seriously. Like, ask Iran if when we got rid of if our when our wonderful uh, democratic CIA got rid of Mohammed Mossadegh, if they care about our elections getting interfered with. So it's very little for me to even be concerned about. Hell, we screwed our own elections. Remember the Florida recount? Wow, the one state where the man's brother is governor is coincidentally where we're having some kind of contention. It's all a coincidence. Oh, I know he did with those stupid sanctions. I mean, if he wanted to expose corruption, he could overturn Citizens United. Like, some of you guys are really broken records. This guy has written no evidence, must be 5 or 6 different times if I were to just go through and count it. Okay, let's see. No evidence he colluded with Russia, that's 1. Still no evidence he committed any crime, that's 2. Still no evidence he committed any crime. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, he's a spammer. I'm reading it right now. That's 3 times written that, even though, again, the person who's actually streaming has not said that he did, so it's kinda like a weird defensive thing that is, being committed here. Okay, he wrote it 5 times. See, you hear MCU got back. Yeah, I'm kinda getting tired of that. Look, go on Fox's channel and do that. I'm really not in the mood to have spam. Jesus Christ. Like, how are you gonna this man, his supporters are just like the weirdest group of people. It's like I'm gonna go on the streams of a progressive who doesn't care about either party, and I'm gonna spam the same phrase over and over again, even as that person doesn't say anything about or like try to argue against my points. And then I'm gonna act stupid and act like I don't know what an assault weapon is. So he can go on Fox's channel and go in the comment section if he wants to. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna just what's a phrase I can use? Yes, Sky. I'm about to start spamming because that's all we know how to do. We're not actually trying to have a conversation. There was one. I got rid of him. He typed the exact same phrase or a close or similar phrase at least 6 times in just at least the last 10 or so minutes. Trump didn't collude. Didn't. There's no evidence Trump committed any crime. There's no evidence Trump committed any crime. There's no evidence Trump committed any crime. There's no evidence. Jesus Christ. Like Scott, that's why I said I really there's something about a keyboard that just turns people and acting stupid on purpose. Like you go on a stream where no one said anything about him doing that. At least the person who's doing recording it or the head of it doesn't say that, and then you just this guy says, "A shame people can have a civil disagreement." It's not, but again, we're not actually talking about a disagreement. We're talking about several people leaving unique messages that respond to each other, and then you're this little hamster wheel doing this. Like I don't really understand the point of having that in here. Jesus. I hate spam. I really do. It's stupid. But like I said, we're not going to talk about this ever again on here, so that's all good. They can uh they can enjoy themselves on the network like Fox or somewhere else that's actually serious about that. Let's see. They can be switched between. Well, that's kind of my point. They can fire more ammo than a regular gun. That's why they're used in a lot of these mass shootings. And it's like I've had gun rights advocates try to tell me, well, the majority of these shootings are not done by assault. Like, yeah, I know that. I'm simply saying that there is a corroboration between their usage in more casualty having shootings because the people who use them know they can fire at more people quicker with them than a regular bit gun. It's all I'm saying. But here, we gotta act stupid. Oh, yeah, you're trying to take my pistol. Like, just by saying that the one that was used there is being used for that purpose because of what it can do that regular ones can't. And I told you, it's like no matter what the person is or what the argument is, they get pissed at them. Like with Manchin, they love this guy. Oh my God, he voted for both of Trump's Supreme Court justices. What a respectable Democrat. He supports building the wall. Yay. And then he says, hey, we need to have some background checks on a gun owner. They will switch on you in 5 seconds. It doesn't matter how reasonable you are on every other issue. They will just. We kind of had a similar thing with. So one of Jimmy's hosts, Ron, has a channel. I watch it on occasion. He did a video about it. He was done with Tulsi, and it was pretty sad because you kind of tell he was just. It was like this really begrudging. I'm finished with this person kind of response. This guy says, "Are they going with the whole Ukraine controversy for the grounds of impeachment?" Yeah, absolutely. That's what they plan on doing. They're going to take a scandal, which again I couldn't care less because people use other countries to do nefarious stuff all the time, and they're going to try to make him pay. Like, you, how dare you mess with our front runner's child? Mm. Some actors you can't change because you guys talking about something else. I'm like, whatever. Let's see. Why do you think there will be more? Wait, who do you think that will be more anti-war, Biden or Trump? Uh, I have no clue. I mean, if I were to look at Biden's record as VP, I would probably say Trump, but he gave a foreign policy speech where he condemned the Yemen conflict. He's basically trying to like now pivot to all of the conflicts that are currently going on are too ridiculous, which is true. But that doesn't stop him from still in office if he gets there, initiating something with Venezuela or Iran, the same places that we had trouble with in the past. I know he supports the Iran deal, but it doesn't automatically mean he's going to try to rejoin it. I didn't say he was. I'm just tired of. I'm just trying to answer a question. Be still if I'm allowed to do that. If that's under your authorization. I would rather deal with Trump. Thank the Democrats. Yeah, but be still. You hate all the Democrats. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. They have a D next to their name. You can't stand them. I bet if I put in my about section. So for the about me part of when you have a channel, I'll be like, hi, my name is, and then put a D after that, and you would never see be still on here again. That's like the ultimate way to. That's like be still repellent. Splendor. Oh, Sky says, not that I care for Trump for really any president or congressman, but I don't think he'll be impeached. I said the same thing. Fedor says, I've never heard of a real assault weapon being used in a mass shooting. AR-15s were not assault weapon. This is where the left is redefining words. Man, I'm not even a gun control like serious advocate. I don't care anymore. Like, whatever. Beastos, the Democrats are just like Republicans. It's the difference, the wolf and the fox. Oh yeah, that's what Jimmy says. We have two money parties. One of them doesn't hate gays, and like that's pretty much it. Mm. Guy says, I haven't seen, in my opinion, concrete evidence that would get Trump impeached. It all seems like hearsay. Well, my thing is, even if there's evidence or there's proof that he tried to get this Ukraine, head of state to participate in digging up dirt, it's like the Republicans are not going to care because they're going to be concerned about trying to keep their voters. That's why I said, why do you think that when people get impeached, it's always done by the opposing party? Because we're not looking at honest actors. It's just a bunch of characters trying to get political gain and like screw over whoever's currently, in office. It's not any kind of due process, if you ask me. Like the whole reason Mueller got praised by those Republicans at first is because, oh, he's one of us. Which means he's a fair and honorable person who will treat Trump and his associates with all of the nice, great things that we think he'll do, and that basically turned into arresting a bunch of different people. Uh, so they're not. No one's over here trying to actually do anything. Let's see. Sky says it's clear both sides hate each other and cannot have an intelligent conversation with the quorum to figure out and address issues. I mean, yeah, if you read Sky, go on the Michael Bennett speech video that I did. If you read the argument between Be Still and Namaraj, it's like they hate each other. And then Namaraj was assuming that Be Still has never held used a firearm before. He had a window into his soul. It was like really crazy. I was saying, why can't they make love and not war? I'm saying the last place I would go to have any intellectual dialogue with someone is the YouTube comment section. We avoid that like the plague. I leave a comment on a video, I don't even go back to it. Or if I see a thing where it says you reply, I don't click on it. I didn't say you had to. I was just saying that I get like tired of the like antagonism. I mean, we had an experience where 2 years ago when this guy put up a video where he first showed off the Ultra Instinct transformation. I left a comment that said, I'm tired of these transformations. I didn't say his video was dumb. I didn't say he was bad for reporting this. I just said I made a comment about with the news that he was leaking. That caused me to get called out of my name in a very demasculating way and get called a racial slur in two by two people who had never spoken to me before, who I had said nothing nasty to. And that's when that's part of like the realization of I really cannot be just a regular person on here. I can't, try to actually speak to people like they're human beings. We literally had a spam robot in here earlier sending out the same message repeatedly. And it's like who goes on someone's content that is of the opposing ideology and just keeps spamming the same word over and over and then like thinks that I'm gonna antagonize the host and not get kicked out of here. Like what world does that work in? This guy says, "Damn, what the hell?" Yeah, I couldn't believe it. But those are the kind of things I'm talking about. And I actually still have. If you don't believe me, I still have the screenshots of when it happened because it just. I was shocked, and I don't usually get surprised by stuff that happens online anymore. Someone leaves me a nasty comment saying I should die because I have a political belief. It's cool. Um, Someone says you can't get a woman because you're ugly and all this other stuff. Whatever. It's just it's par for the course, but it's really not worth bothering with. Like all these, just actually responding back to it. And usually, the only time I ever do respond is if they interrupt the stream. If they leave a comment, I just ignore it. Okay, I go into Tom Hartman all the time to antagonize people. It's a hobby. No, that's up for you to do. Personally, I'm actually kind of not in my feelings towards him have sort of been dismayed over that little minor scandal that broke out earlier this week where I gotta get rid of a video that was only uploaded because he himself unlisted his. Well, we don't know if that for sure was him or the people that run his channel, because they, you get my point. There's multiple people that could be involved in determining that. Oh my God, he's trying to steal my interview with this politician that I unlisted for no one to be able to see except for those who have the link. And then if they go to see it, they have to go and sift through a 3 hour video. I thought I was spreading information and raising awareness, man. These snakes. That's all I can say. These stills, I used to think LGBTQ people were some group that should be protected because they are bullied. This and that does happen, but nowhere near what they put out there. Oh, so you mean like they've tried to make it seem as if they're getting more, what's the B stand for? Bisexual, Namaraj. So what I guess what B still is trying to say is that the media makes it sound as if they're getting screwed with more than they actually are. I don't know. Maybe that's what he's intending to state. The whole thing is like they make a big story out of, oh my God, this person just got murdered. I'm like, yeah, but the issue should be that someone got murdered, not that they're part of some group that I have a problem with. Told you I was talking to I used to have political discussions with a transgender person, and then they called me out of my name, tried to demasculate me, and I was like, boy, you better get out of here because the things I'm saying are going to be considered all kind of levels of toxic if if this conversation continues. Must have lost your damn mind. And it sucks too because it's if you remember that interaction from last year, that was literally over something somebody else said. Oh my God, I was not offended. I'm like, yeah, I'm on a call where someone says something, not in writing, so I can't get rid of it or, like quickly address it or whatever. They just say it and then, oh, you must pay because I don't know who the other person is. Man, go to hell. I think there's one Republican in the House that came out in favor of impeachment, though. I forgot his name. He's in Nevada. He's another one of those characters I've never heard of before that might have, will you join? Man, Namaraj, my rule with Discord is I don't join anyone else's servers anymore. As many times as I got yanked for no reason and over stuff that was stupid, I'm done. Like no more. I try to stay off of, I think I mentioned before, all social media websites other than to just post stuff. Yeah. Damaraj, I was in the guy's server for 2 years and got kicked out because I wouldn't be his friend. So that's it's not exactly something I'm interested in doing. I got kicked out of the server I think a couple of weeks ago because the not a couple of weeks ago, earlier this year, which is why I'm in my like disillusion thing. Not because the owner had no problem with me whatsoever and invited me back. One of his mods kept trying to put me in a voice room with like where there was nobody in there, and they didn't say why I was going in there. They didn't say they were doing that. I just kept ending up in another um, voice chat, and then all of a sudden, I'm trying to like go back to when I was in. I get kicked, and they're like, "Oh, I did that by accident. I was in my car," and I was like, "Man." So it's like I'm supposed to have read his mind and thought that like this was something that was just going to occur if I just sit here and wait. Like, man, all these sites are ran by fools. Whatever. Oh, I've never seen this person before. Properties. That's a new character. I can't wait for him to spam the same message 6 times like the other person did. You'd be like, Democrats want to impeach. Democrats want to impeach. Democrats want to impeach. No, that's why I'm serious. I've really tried to limit uh, all social media interactions. Like I'm off of every website. I don't use Twitter anymore because of what they did to my account. I don't use Instagram anymore. Just every last one of them, I'm finished with. I mean, I guess she could run, but I think she'll get embarrassed. There's actually on Jimmy's, he was doing some I think it was a live show or one of his events, and he was talking about how they had a theory that if Warren, because it's been confirmed that she's spoken to Clinton, if she won the primary, she would pick Clinton as her VP and then have an accident, and then Clinton would become president. Let's see. What? It's way too late in the game for that XD. Or is how you spell that name? Oh, easily. Ah, okay. She has until mid-October. I just don't think she's gonna run. I think she'll. That scenario he laid out is the best bet of her getting involved in electoral politics again. It's like this lady will stop at nothing to get in office. She gave a speech yesterday actually, and it was covered by Fox. And every time Fox covers a Democrat, and you go to the video, unless it's Tulsi or Manchin, I always see. Well, the only acceptable spam is this. Yeah, yeah, that's the only spam I like. All the other spam are some dude saying that Trump hasn't colluded with Russia 8 or 9 times. Like, man, like I'm not even one of the people that push that, and I still get these like weird responses from Trump backers. Like they automatically assume if you don't like him, you must have thought something about an election that. I mean, by the time that election even came, I didn't even care anymore because I didn't like either of the candidates. So I was like, whatever. Now Mirage is apologizing for his behavior. B still is going to say, "Yeah, you were," and then he's going to run off, and he's going to. We're going to hear the Nelson laugh from Simpsons. Well, I've been saying the same thing, and I'm like, I still get his supporters, like that guy that came in here, right? Because see, my thing is this: when most people go on these big channel live streams and they start typing all kind of weird stuff, nobody really sees it because there's so many people in there. But it's like you choose to be in a stream where there's not that many people, and then you want to like have your cake and eat it too. You want to be the spammer who types the same thing over and over again, but you also want to like try to piss me off by trying to like frame me as someone who thought the Russiagate thing was a big huge scandal and we have proof of it. And it's like, man, just stop, just go away. And they were saying, we can't have a civil. You had Skyclank earlier mentioning we couldn't have a single civil discussion. Like, no, it's because you have a person who we're all giving unique answers, and you keep typing the same, copy and paste the same thing. And that's the second time he did that. He did that during that Bolton stream. I was just so elated over finding out that clown was removed. I didn't care. But now I'm annoyed and tired of hearing about this topic. I do want to play that TYT video where Cenk predicted like 2 years ago that Trump would resign in disgrace, and it was like August of I think 2017. And it's really funny because I said to myself every like 6 months I'm gonna go back and replay that video. Oh, thanks, Be Still, for the second one. Dude, every single like, couple of months, I just go back like this. Yeah, he's still there, just like I thought he would be. I guess TYT didn't know what they were talking about. So like that has never happened before. Remember the loser Donald segments where they would it was like, oh, Trump is going to lose the election. I'm going to make fun of him every day until he loses it. And then the last one that Cenk did was like, oops. It's like, yeah, because they're not that good of prognosticators. Do you think the supreme prophecy about Trump will happen? I don't know what that is. What that he'll use his speaking fees to buy a golden toilet, and he'll crap silver and piss copper. But this is off topic. But did you hear that Alex Jones is suing Young Turks and Brianna Wu for libel and slander? I did not hear about that, Splendora. And it is off topic. You're immediately being removed from here. So this is your last day in the chat. Let's see. Easily says Intel community quality scrap requirement for first-hand knowledge before CIA promo blower relied on hearsay. Sounds like the whistleblower is CIA. Yeah, I don't dispute. Wasn't there like an article, and I remember this. It was probably at the start of this year or late last year, where there was someone who was talking about we're going to get rid of Trump from the inside. So I don't dispute that it was a person who's in the intel community, because they've had problems with him where he won't listen to them or whatever, or like the briefings don't work or something. I've seen that before. Uh okay. B Still's referencing The Simpsons. I'll go and look at it after this. Schumer? You mean Schumer? Like Chuck? The worthless Senate Minority Leader, who literally is only, man, I just want him and Pelosi to just be out of leadership so much. Uh, I had a feeling that was who you were talking about. I think, if I remember correctly, Sam Cedar is supposed to run against him in the next primary, which is 3 years. That'll be great, or 2 years rather, because it starts the year before the election. So it'll be lovely to see him actually get some kind of like populist challenger that people know ahead of time, and don't have a problem with. Have shown that they're willing to at least support vocally. 'Cause he is straight trash. I want to do like a social experiment where I just have like some channel where I just upload stuff bashing Democrats and see how many people think I'm right wing. Like no mention of any Republicans at all. Just Democrat, Democrat, Democrat. They're horrible. They're awful. All the different phrases and terms you could think of. I guarantee you, it would probably, like, you would have a bunch of right wing people going, "Oh yeah, you're telling the truth. Yeah, you're speaking to power. Yeah." The left would try to destroy you. Oh, I'm so scared. They're really not anything to be worried about. It's like if they can't, if they're so powerful, why can't they get rid of any of these members of the House that are Republicans? Like that. Forget Trump. Why can't they impeach any of the different congressional Republicans? Why can't they get rid of any of the Republican governors? Like they're nothing. They're all talk and no bark. So I'm not too intimidated. Let's see. I didn't think the left was so mean. Well, that's only because they screwed her out of being in the debate, and then like they're actually purposely actively trying to end her campaign. I mean, I don't care for her one way or the other, but if you have a candidate who has known grassroots support, you should let them on the stage, whether they meet a polling standard or not. Really, the only standard of data that should have been required was the donor one. It's like 100,000 people gave money to this person just for the hell of it. No, they're well liked, or at least they're liked by a sizable group of people. So let them on the stage. But that's them. They're really trying to go out of their way to make sure that they can just make it. Biden, Sanders, and Warren, and then everybody else can just get chewed out a little bit. You're kind of seeing that with Harris as well, where she was this big top dog and just poop. You mentioned TYT, so I recalled that LOL TYT and Brown Owusu, Alex Jones emailed videos and pictures of child porn to the families of the Sandy Hook victims and refused to retract them. The truth was that during the lawsuit against Alex Jones, people started using emails to Alex Jones and InfoWars, and during discovery, the FBI found them and revealed they were never open. So he got lied on, and TYT won't admit it. They won't confirm that this was something that he himself did not actually do, but that people were trying to frame him over. Like I said, I'm not. He should have never been removed from any of these networks, or not networks, these social media sites. Like I think it's completely ridiculous for these to be supposedly places that are open to the public, but we're going to determine who can and can't come on here and speak. I had a guy come in my comment section. What if it was your child that was in Sandy Hook? I was like, it doesn't matter. Whenever we start getting selective about who can and can't use these websites, we're screwed. Like, what's the threshold? Do you have to have a certain number of subs before you're protected? Do you have to not say any bad words? Do you have to not piss off a certain number of people? Like, what the hell? The left today are modern day book burners. Yeah, I do. They do burn novels. That's very much corroborated by fact. All right. Does anyone have anything left to say before we end our final word on Trump impeachment and never speak about this topic again? Well, at least I won't. Any last comments, claims, speculation, theories, positions? Anything else? Pandora says they deserve to be read. All right, cool. So Splendora, I got somebody here, so I can't use it. That's just the way it goes. But look, thanks for showing up. And have a good day.